Sometimes the real power ain't in what you chase, it's in what you walk away from. See life gon' test you. Opportunities, people, environments, they'll pull on your energy, your focus, your peace. But everything that looks good for you ain't always good to you. And one of the hardest lessons you gotta learn on this marathon is knowing when to walk away. Not out of fear, not out of weakness, but out of self-respect, vision, and alignment. Life will always put you in situations where your energy is tested, where people, environments, and circumstances try to pull from you more than they give back. The truth is, energy is your most valuable currency. You can lose money and make it again. You can lose material things and replace them. But once your energy is drained, once your spirit is exhausted, it becomes harder to rebuild. That is why protecting your energy is not optional, it is essential. Every decision you make, every room you walk into, every person you allow into your space is either feeding your energy or draining it. If the balance is always on the side of taking and never giving, you have to make a choice to protect yourself and walk away. Too often people stay in environments that are toxic to their growth. They know deep down it doesn't feel right, but fear, comfort, or habit makes them stay. Protecting your energy requires courage, because it means cutting ties with things that no longer serve you, even if those things once felt necessary. You have to ask yourself whether you are investing your time and presence into something that multiplies your value or something that keeps you stuck. Walking away doesn't always mean walking away from bad people or obvious negativity. Sometimes it's walking away from comfort zones, old patterns, or even opportunities that don't align with your bigger vision. If you chase everything, you will eventually have nothing left. But if you protect your energy and pour it into what truly matters, that's when you begin to see growth on every level. Imagine energy as water in a jar. Every person, every activity, every commitment is either poking holes into that jar or helping you refill it. If you are surrounded by people who gossip, complain, or doubt every move you make, they are punching holes into your jar. No matter how much you try to pour into yourself, it keeps leaking out. The danger is you might not even realize how empty you are until you burn out completely. Protecting your energy means being aware of these leaks and closing them by walking away from what drains you. When you do that, you preserve enough of yourself to focus on the things that actually add value to your life. It takes wisdom to understand that not every battle deserves your fight. Not every argument needs your response. Not every invitation requires your presence. Protecting your energy sometimes looks like silence, sometimes looks like distance, and sometimes looks like walking away. This isn't weakness, this is discipline. It is saying that your time, peace, and focus are too valuable to waste on things that won't matter in the long run. The ones who succeed in life are the ones who learn how to spend their energy like money, carefully and intentionally. If you wouldn't invest your money in a business guaranteed to fail, why invest your energy in relationships, habits, or environments that keep you from winning? The deeper lesson here is that energy protection builds confidence. When you realize you can say no, when you realize you have the power to walk away, you stop operating from fear and start moving with authority. You no longer chase approval or validation from people who don't value you. You no longer stay stuck in spaces that don't recognize your worth. Instead, you carry yourself with clarity because you know that your energy is sacred. You know that where your energy flows, results grow. And so you treat it like a resource that cannot be wasted. This brings us to another key truth: value over validation. One of the main reasons people struggle to walk away is because they're addicted to being validated. They want people to clap for them, they want recognition, they want to feel accepted, even if it means staying in places where they've already outgrown the purpose. The problem with chasing validation is that it makes you a prisoner to opinions. You start adjusting your moves not based on your vision but on how others will respond. And that is the fastest way to lose yourself. Choosing value over validation means you stop caring about applause and start caring about alignment. You realize that claps can be loud but empty, while true value is quiet but undeniable. Think about it. People can cheer you on while you're destroying yourself just because they enjoy the entertainment. Validation is temporary and unreliable because it depends on the mood of others. But value is permanent. It is what you carry within you. It is the work you put in. It is the character you build. When you walk away from validation and focus on value, you begin to move differently. You stop needing everyone to agree with you and you start making decisions that elevate you. It is easy to stay in certain circles because they give you quick approval. Maybe the people around you celebrate your small wins, but deep down you know you're capable of more. Staying just for validation can keep you trapped at a lower level of growth. Walking away is not about disrespecting those people, it's about respecting your potential. You might have to leave a place where everyone claps for you just to go somewhere new where no one knows you, because that's where your value will be tested, stretched, and strengthened. Validation feels good in the moment, but it can become a trap if it keeps you from pursuing true growth. There are countless stories of people who stayed in the wrong environment just because they didn't want to lose approval. They silenced their dreams to fit in. They lowered their standards to be accepted. They ignored their purpose because they wanted to be liked. But the reality is no amount of outside validation can fill the emptiness of ignoring your true calling. You will always feel that pull inside you that says there is more. And until you walk away from needing validation, you will never have the space to discover your real value. Walking away from validation also teaches independence. You no longer measure your worth by how many likes, followers, or claps you get. You start measuring it by the consistency of your effort, the integrity of your choices, and the vision you are pursuing. This shift is powerful because it frees you from the cycle of always performing for others. You stop being a product of their approval and start becoming the architect of your destiny. The combination of protecting your energy and choosing value over validation creates an unstoppable mindset. You become selective with your time, careful with your focus, and intentional with your actions. You stop giving pieces of yourself to people who don't respect the gift you carry. You stop waiting for others to tell you you're worthy, and you begin to live from a place of knowing that you already are. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is recognizing that your life has meaning, and that meaning cannot be defined by outside voices. Every time you choose to protect your energy, you build discipline. Every time you choose value over validation, you build strength. And together, these choices create momentum. This is how you separate yourself from the distractions, from the noise, from the cycles that trap so many people. You begin to live with clarity, direction, and power. Walking away becomes less about leaving something behind and more about stepping into something greater. When you decide to walk away from something that no longer serves you, it may feel like you are losing something. The truth is, every exit you make in life creates space for something better to enter. Imagine carrying a backpack that is already full. You cannot put anything new inside unless you first take something out. The same is true with your life. If your time, your energy, your attention, and your focus are consumed by things that drain you, there is no room left for the opportunities that can actually elevate you. Walking away may be difficult in the moment because it feels like a sacrifice, but what you are really doing is creating the necessary space for new blessings, new people, and new possibilities to come in. Many people underestimate the importance of empty space. They think that if they are not constantly busy or surrounded, they are missing out. But the real growth happens in the spaces you create by leaving behind what does not align. When you walk away from a toxic friendship, it may hurt for a while, but that empty space in your life allows genuine connections to eventually find you. When you walk away from an opportunity that pays well but does not align with your vision, it might feel risky, but that empty space becomes the ground where a better path can grow. Walking away creates clarity because it clears out the noise, the distractions, and the attachments that blur your vision. The emptiness you fear is actually the soil where your future can take root. Think about it like renovating a house. If you try to decorate over broken walls and cracked foundations, the beauty will not last. But if you clear out the old, strip away what is no longer useful, and create space, you can build something much stronger and more lasting. Walking away works the same way. It is not about loss, it is about making room. The universe cannot deliver what you are meant to receive if your hands are still holding on to what you should have released long ago. Every exit is really an entry to the next level, but you only see it when you are brave enough to walk away. This leads to another important truth. Walking away is not the same as quitting. Too often people confuse the two and let fear keep them stuck. Quitting is when you give up on yourself, when you abandon your vision, when you stop pursuing what you know deep down is your purpose. Walking away, however, is the exact opposite. It is choosing yourself. It is betting on your potential. It is recognizing that where you are standing right now cannot take you where you are meant to go. Quitting is rooted in weakness and defeat, but walking away is rooted in strength and clarity. The difference comes down to intention. When you quit, you step back with no plan and no belief that something better is possible. When you walk away, you step forward with trust, with discipline, and with the understanding that the environment you are leaving is no longer worthy of your energy. Quitting ends the journey. Walking away continues the journey but shifts the direction toward alignment. That is why walking away is not failure, it is strategy. It is the decision to leave behind what slows you down so that you can keep running your marathon at full speed. Consider someone who stays in a job that pays well but drains their soul every day. Staying in that situation out of fear or comfort is not strength, it is settling. Quitting on themselves would mean staying there forever and allowing the dream inside them to die. Walking away, on the other hand, would mean choosing to step into the unknown, choosing to take a risk, choosing to believe that their vision has more value than their comfort. In that moment, walking away is not quitting, it is courage. It is saying, I am not abandoning my dream, I am abandoning the things that keep me from living it. This mindset also applies to relationships. Walking away from people who do not value you or support your growth is not quitting on love or friendship, it is choosing to honor yourself. Quitting would be shutting yourself off from ever trusting again. Walking away is simply understanding that some connections have expired, and that holding on to them will only block you from receiving better ones. Walking away creates the freedom to align with people who match your vision, who believe in your purpose, and who bring out the best in you. There will always be voices around you that tell you walking away looks like weakness. They will say you gave up too early. They will say you should have endured more. They will say you should not have let go. But only you know the weight of what you were carrying. Only you know the cost it had on your peace, your focus, and your well-being. Walking away is not about proving anything to others. It is about protecting what matters most to you. The people who truly understand growth will never confuse walking away with quitting, because they know the discipline it takes to let go of what is no longer aligned. In fact, walking away often takes more strength than staying. Anyone can stay stuck out of fear or comfort, but it takes vision to release what no longer serves you. It takes courage to step into uncertainty. It takes self-belief to trust that something better is waiting on the other side of your decision. Quitting closes doors. Walking away opens them. Quitting silences your inner voice. Walking away honors it. Quitting leaves you powerless. Walking away empowers you to create the life you know you deserve. So when you think about the power of walking away, do not confuse it with failure. See it as one of the highest forms of self-respect. It is the moment you say to yourself that your future is too valuable to waste in places that no longer align. It is the moment you choose clarity over confusion, growth over stagnation, and vision over comfort. It is the moment you step into the empty space you once feared and realize that emptiness is not a loss. It is a canvas waiting to be filled with what was always meant for you. Loyalty is a powerful quality, but it becomes dangerous when it blinds you to reality. Many people grow up believing that loyalty means standing by someone no matter what, even when their actions are harmful, even when they refuse to grow, even when they are dragging you down with them. The truth is, loyalty without boundaries is self-destruction. If you are giving your time, your trust, and your energy to people who are committed to staying the same, you are chaining yourself to their limitations. Loyalty should never mean sacrificing your growth, your peace, or your future for someone who refuses to take responsibility for their own. There is a difference between supporting someone who is struggling but working to rise and enabling someone who has no desire to change. Loyalty has limits, and those limits are defined by respect. If a person respects you, they will not ask you to stay in situations that drain you. If they respect you, they will not demand that you compromise your values or abandon your vision. But when people start expecting you to remain loyal to their stagnation or their negativity, that is when you have to recognize the limit. You cannot save someone who does not want to save themselves. You cannot drag someone forward who is determined to stay behind. Think about it like being on a boat. If the person beside you refuses to fix the holes in their side, both of you will sink, no matter how hard you paddle. At some point, walking away is not betrayal, it is survival. It is recognizing that drowning together does not prove loyalty, it only proves that you lack the courage to let go. Loyalty should never require you to lose yourself. Real loyalty begins with being loyal to your own purpose first, because if you are not grounded in your own vision, you cannot genuinely support anyone else. Many people confuse guilt with loyalty. They feel guilty for leaving people behind even when those people have shown no interest in growth. They stay in toxic relationships, toxic friendships, or toxic environments because they believe walking away would make them disloyal. But loyalty is not about how long you can suffer in silence. Loyalty is about truth. If the truth is that the relationship is no longer healthy, if the truth is that the environment is holding you back, then staying is not loyalty, it is fear disguised as devotion. Real loyalty sometimes means telling someone no, sometimes means setting boundaries, and sometimes means walking away completely. When you recognize that loyalty has limits, you free yourself from the weight of other people's choices. You stop carrying problems that are not yours to solve. You stop trying to rescue people who do not want to be rescued. You stop investing years into situations that will never change. And in that freedom, you give yourself permission to grow, to rise, and to surround yourself with people who are equally committed to moving forward. Walking away from misplaced loyalty is one of the hardest decisions you will make, but it is also one of the most liberating, because it allows you to finally be loyal to the life you are meant to build. This leads into another truth that is even deeper. Peace is priceless. You can chase money, you can chase fame, you can chase recognition, but if you do not have peace, none of it will matter. Peace is the ability to rest at night without carrying unnecessary burdens. Peace is the freedom to move through life without constant conflict, without constant chaos, without the feeling that you are at war with your own choices. When you sacrifice peace for the sake of pleasing others, for the sake of appearances, or for the sake of temporary gains, you always lose more than you gain. Many people spend their whole lives chasing external success while ignoring the state of their inner world. They think that once they get more money or more attention, peace will follow. But money cannot buy peace, fame cannot buy peace, and validation cannot buy peace. Peace is not something you purchase, it is something you protect. And one of the most important ways you protect it is by walking away from anything that disturbs it. If a job is draining your mental health, it is costing you more than it pays. If a relationship is robbing you of your joy, it is too expensive to maintain. If a habit keeps you in cycles of regret, the price of keeping it is far greater than the effort it takes to break it. Peace becomes priceless because it is the foundation of everything else. Without peace, you cannot fully enjoy success. Without peace, you cannot think clearly enough to make wise decisions. Without peace, even the best opportunities will feel heavy because your spirit is unsettled. Protecting your peace means prioritizing balance, clarity, and alignment over short-term comfort. It means understanding that every time you say yes to something that robs you of peace, you are saying no to your own well-being. Walking away becomes an act of protecting peace. It is the decision to remove yourself from cycles of drama, from people who thrive on conflict, and from environments that thrive on chaos. Protecting peace does not mean running from challenges, because challenges are part of growth. It means refusing to let unnecessary conflict dominate your life. It means having the strength to let go of things that bring constant disturbance without bringing meaningful value. The beauty of protecting peace is that it changes how you move in every area of life. You stop reacting to everything that happens and you start responding with wisdom. You stop wasting energy on proving yourself to people who will never understand you, and you start focusing on building the life that feels aligned with your purpose. Peace becomes the standard by which you measure every decision. If it threatens your peace, it does not deserve your presence. This perspective also allows you to understand that peace is not passive. It is not simply sitting back and hoping for calm. Peace is active. It is a daily choice. It requires boundaries, discipline, and the courage to walk away from anything that jeopardizes it. Sometimes protecting peace means walking away from an argument that could explode into something bigger. Sometimes it means leaving behind old habits that keep you in guilt and regret. Sometimes it means distancing yourself from environments that celebrate negativity. Protecting peace is powerful because it keeps your mind clear, your heart steady, and your energy directed toward what really matters. When you combine the understanding that loyalty has limits with the realization that peace is priceless, you begin to live with a new kind of clarity. You no longer feel guilty for leaving behind people or places that drain you, because you understand that misplaced loyalty steals your peace. You no longer chase things that disrupt your inner balance, because you know that true wealth is not measured in possessions, but in the calm and strength you carry within. You begin to see walking away not as an act of weakness, but as a necessary step to protect both your future and your spirit. Growth is not a comfortable process. It is not smooth, it is not easy, and it is not meant to feel familiar. If you look closely at every season of real progress in your life, you will notice a pattern. Before growth came separation. Before you stepped into new opportunities, you had to step away from old ones. Before you reached a higher level, you had to let go of something that kept you low. That is the natural rhythm of life. Elevation always requires shedding, because you cannot rise while carrying everything and everyone with you. The reason so many people feel stuck is not because they lack talent, drive, or vision. It is because they are afraid of separation. They are afraid of leaving behind the people, habits, and environments that have been part of their lives for so long, even though those things no longer serve their future. Growth demands that you loosen your grip on what feels familiar, because what feels familiar is often what keeps you stagnant. You cannot step into your higher self while clinging to your lower self. You cannot move into new chapters while refusing to close old ones. Think about a seed. Before it becomes a tree, it has to break through the shell that once protected it. That shell was useful at one stage, but it becomes a barrier at the next. The seed cannot grow without separating from it. In the same way, you have to separate from the versions of yourself that are holding you back. You have to separate from the environments that no longer align with the person you are becoming. Separation is not about abandoning everything. It is about making the distinction between what contributes to your growth and what restricts it. Sometimes that separation is from habits that drain your potential. You cannot keep the habit of procrastination and expect to grow into someone disciplined. You cannot keep the habit of doubting yourself and expect to build confidence. Growth requires you to separate from the patterns that feel easy but keep you in cycles of regret. Sometimes that separation is from people, not because they are bad people, but because their mindset no longer matches the direction you are moving. If someone is committed to living in the past, they cannot walk with you into the future. If someone is content with mediocrity, they will not push you toward greatness. Growth requires the courage to separate from people who do not grow with you. This is one of the hardest lessons because separation often feels like loss. But what you must understand is that separation is not rejection, it is preparation. Every time you walk away from what is not aligned, you are making space for what is. You are preparing yourself for new levels, new opportunities, and new relationships that match your growth. If you cling to everything you have now, you will never reach what is waiting for you. Growth requires separation because without it, there is no room for transformation, and this brings us to a deeper principle. The journey is not about running fast, it is about running right. The marathon is not won by the one who sprints the hardest in the beginning, it is won by the one who moves with direction and discipline all the way through. Life works the same way. It does not matter how fast you are moving if you are moving in the wrong direction. It does not matter how busy you are if your business has no alignment with your purpose. Sometimes the only way to move forward is to walk away from the things that are keeping you off track. The marathon is about direction, not just speed. You can spend years running in circles and never reach your destination simply because you refuse to adjust your path. Walking away is not about stopping your progress, it is about correcting it. It is about realizing that if the people around you are slowing you down, you need to separate. If the environment you are in is limiting you, you need to relocate. If the habits you carry are weakening you, you need to release them. Every step in the wrong direction delays your purpose, so walking away from misaligned paths is the only way to keep the marathon true. Direction gives meaning to movement. Too many people waste years chasing money without purpose, chasing recognition without substance, chasing opportunities without alignment. They sprint hard, but they end up exhausted and unfulfilled because they ran in the wrong race. The marathon is about clarity. It is about asking yourself where you are going and why. When you have direction, even slow steps become powerful because every step is taking you closer to the life you were meant to build. When you lack direction, even the fastest sprint leaves you empty because you are running towards something that will not sustain you. Walking away becomes crucial because it ensures your direction stays pure. If you are surrounded by negativity, you cannot move in a positive direction. If you are tied to people who pull you backward, you cannot move forward no matter how fast you run. If you are chasing validation, you cannot stay true to your vision. Walking away is not a distraction from the marathon, it is part of the marathon. It is the discipline to say that not every road is worth traveling, not every crowd is worth following, not every opportunity is worth taking. The power of the marathon lies in knowing which paths to leave behind so you can keep running yours with purpose. The deeper you understand this, the more intentional your life becomes. Growth through separation teaches you to be selective with your time and your focus. The marathon mindset teaches you to value direction over speed, vision over validation, peace over pressure. Together, these principles form the foundation of real success. They keep you grounded in your purpose while freeing you from the attachments that try to hold you back. When you look at the bigger picture, you will see that separation is not an interruption of your journey, it is part of it. You will see that direction is not about how much you achieve in the eyes of others, but how aligned you are with the purpose planted inside you. And you will realize that the true victory is not found in sprinting past everyone else, but in staying committed to your path step by step, decision by decision, walking away from anything that threatens your peace, your vision, and your growth. At the end of the day, the power of walking away is really the power of choosing yourself. It is the decision to protect your energy, value your peace, and honor your vision even when it means letting go of people, habits, and environments you once thought you needed. Growth will always demand separation, and direction will always demand correction. Walking away is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the understanding that every step away from what no longer serves you is a step closer to the life you are meant to create. Remember, the marathon is not about rushing, it is about running with purpose. And purpose will always require sacrifice, discipline, and the courage to move on. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting, and thank you for continuing to run this marathon with us. Your time and energy are valuable, and I appreciate you choosing to spend them here. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and keep building the life you deserve.